Hello everybody, hope you're all doing fantastically well. It's Connor here. We are back with another Rumour Mill. Hope you've had a good day. Hope you've enjoyed the stuff on the channel. You want a bit of bonus content, everybody? We have a Patreon video up live now with myself and my old man chatting waffle about Leeds United, but we're talking about the title race. We're talking about transfers, and we're talking about all the youth developments at Leeds United. So yeah, an interesting watch if you fancy doing that. But I wanted to do a live tonight. I've not checked in with you guys for a good couple of days. A lot of edited videos as well. So I hope you're enjoying the content. Make sure you stay tuned. Evening, Harry. How you, mate? Evening, Connor. How you, Nige? Let's have a look at some other. Justin says smash a like. Yeah, smash a like, lads. I really appreciate those comments. Just means that the videos show up in the algorithm and all the effort is worth it. So yeah, really appreciate all that good stuff. I'm having to wear a hat because my hair is abysmal at the minute, and it's winter, so I'm not getting it cut. So shout out, if I will get it cut, you know I'm going to get it cut. It'll be cut in about 2 days' time, but right now I can't bother doing it. Evening, Connor. Hi, Liam. Greetings, says Mick. Evening, Connor. City can effing do, and hi, Annabelle. Hello. Yeah, all good, Paul. Thanks, mate. So yeah, the latest news. I mentioned yesterday when we were speaking about Finley Gorman, about City coming in and doing what City do. And so yeah, you asked around a little bit today and all this sort of stuff, and you know, this report that's come out from Team Talk today states that City aren't finished, and I don't think they are. As I raise my eyebrows, they've been looking at Harry Gray now for, apparently, which I just found out, the best part of 8-9 months. Finley Gorman was a long-term thing as well, as we knew from you know, the rumour mills of all the articles. But yeah, turns out that they are after Harry Gray now, and they are pursuing him. So one of those things where you like, just go away. Because him and Charlie Crew, I mentioned it in this morning's video. If you haven't checked out this morning's video, everybody, please do so. Are the shining lights in the academy development squads at the minute. They are seen as the next big things at Ellen Road, and those two names alongside Archie as well are consistently being mentioned. So yeah, we don't, no formal offer has come through yet, and maybe City are just waiting in the wings for something to develop. Maybe they are talking to Harry at this moment in time. I don't know. But yeah, they are definitely pursuing him. I know that for a fact, or they have intention on pursuing him. So the beautiful thing is, you know, Leeds are really, you know, it's great for our product line, isn't it? We are clearly bringing some serious lads through the door in terms of quality and talent. But it's just, how do you keep them away? And I'll be honest with you, Galot, I was getting annoyed with some of the stuff I was reading yesterday. Like, you know, I understand football's subjective and everybody's got an opinion, but some of the tripe I was reading, it's Leeds' fault. Leeds need to offer a new package. Leeds need to do more to keep certain individuals. What do you think Leeds are going to do? How on earth? Like, it's like when we'll start doing the Rumour Mill in January in the summer, and certain fans get upset because we're not able to compete with certain clubs in the Premier League. Like, the financial parity between some of the clubs is gargantuan. It's ginormous. Even just certain teams been in the Premier League for a couple of seasons. You know, Bournemouth been a classic example. Obviously, they've had a takeover, but Bournemouth been a classic example. You know, or a season extra than Leeds United, I should say. But there are others in there. You know, you look at Brentford now, for instance. And I just think, you know, maybe fans need to be a little bit more realistic. It's difficult for Leeds. All they can do is turn around and say to, for example, Harry or Charlie, and I'm not saying they're going, by the way, I'm saying City are definitely interested and are looking at them, at Harry, I should say. But Leeds can't turn around and just go on, Eddie, give him a word, because Eddie can do that. You know, Frank can do that, Andy can do that. All the Greys can speak. You know, all the Greys can speak to Harry, and Archie might have a word, but you're going to get these big clubs coming in for players who are playing like Harry is, like Finley is, and ultimately like Archie is. And there's only a certain amount Leeds can do. We can offer them a pathway. What we can't offer them is a treble. What we can't offer them is to be part of a side or part of a developmental squad with world-class players everywhere. What we can't offer them is probably a financial package which is insane for a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old. It just can't happen. And I just wanted to say, like, you've got to be realistic with a lot of it. We can try our damnedest. We can try our hardest. We can offer them a pathway. We can offer them an avenue into the first team quicker than what they will get. But all of these external factors come into play, especially when you're looking at agents and especially when you're looking at young lads. They might turn around in 10 years and say, do you know what, that was the worst decision of my life, especially being at Leeds with all the pathways that they were given to the likes of Archie Gray, to the likes of Jamie Shackleton, to the likes of Calvin Phillips in previous years. But also in 10 years' time, we could see Finlay Gorman becoming Jude Bellingham. You just have no idea, and he could break into that City starting 11, and then his wildest dreams are gonna come true. And they also have English, youngsters in their team right now who've come through the City network: Phil Foden, Rico Lewis. So it's difficult. It is difficult, and I understand it, and I get it, because I get very, very passionate about wanting them to stay as well. But you can't blame Leeds United. Nobody can blame Leeds United. All we can just do as much as we can do as a championship club. And even if we're a Premier League club, even if we're a top 10 Premier League club, you can't compete with City. You can't compete really with Liverpool. You just can't do it. So, it's difficult. And, I understand there's a lot of people in the comment section below. Chemical Echo, you could be right. You could be right. Obviously, I know his family resides in Harrogate, and I know he's a Leeds lad. But yeah, I think it's just difficult to always. I just saw some nonsensical things the other day, like not hammering the club, but saying Leeds have got to do more. What do you expect them to do? What do you expect them to do? They can only do as much as they can do when you're up against the best football team in the world. So yeah, what's up, Connor? Hey, Matt. Hope you're all good. Can't believe we're selling some of our great talent. Claude Breeze. Yeah, I get it, mate, to an extent. Yeah, yeah, Mark, exactly. It's team talk. It might just be a rumour, but when you're as good as he is, and there are clubs watching, I can tell you that for a fact, when you're as good as Harry is, and Charlie is, I'm not saying it's going to happen. They might be at Leeds for the next 10, 15 years. But the job on the rumour mill is to talk around rumours. And that's what we're discussing here. And team talk, to be fair to them, we're speaking very, very early on. I think it was last year, about City chasing Finlay Gorman. So, Ryan says no loyalty in football anymore. So it's easier for these graduates to have their heads in. I agree. I do agree, right? But the kids, aren't they, mate? The kids, and a lot of it is in, what would you have done if you were 15, 16 years old? Do you know what I mean, mate? Because we'd all turn around, wouldn't we, and go, as Leeds fans, I'd reject it. Well, no chance. But these kids have agents, and the agents are trying to get a cut for themselves as well. And the agents are always, a lot of the time, are very intertwined with the family, and can say to the family, this they'll be offered this, they'll be offered this. The wildest dreams are sold in the world. And, it's all well and good just saying, I'm just going to stick around because I'm a Leeds fan. Would you really do that if you were 15, 16 years old? Would you? I'd say I would, but then if it's offered to you... you think Liverpool will come in for Archie Gray still? I do, mate. I do think Liverpool will come in for Archie Gray. Matt Hughes is normally very decent. And yeah, I do think they'll come in, but it doesn't... Archie's at a very different stage to what Charlie and Harry are. Archie's been given that pathway. Archie's in that pathway right now. But we've seen this with Delph, haven't we, before? I know Delph wasn't a Leeds fan. I couldn't tell you if Archie was a Leeds fan. I really couldn't. His granddad, obviously Eddie and Frank are legends and all this sort of stuff. But I couldn't tell you if Archie's a born and bred Leeds fan. Obviously, I think he was born I presume he was born in Leeds, but I don't know if he's actual born and bred Leeds fan. The two different things, aren't they? You can be born and bred in Leeds, but born and bred a Leeds fan is something completely different. So I don't know. But, he might not have the affinity that people think. But why Archie's different to Charlie and Harry is that Archie's already in that pathway, as I've just mentioned. He's already playing for Leeds United week in, week out. The issue with this right now is he's in the shop window because he's so good. He can play in multiple positions. He's doing it for England. and he can deal with multiple stressy situations. He's proven it against some of the better wingers in the league. He's proven it in central midfield as well. So yeah, it's a difficult one. It is a difficult one. I do remember Tyrone Woods. I remember them very, very well, and we barely saw them for Leeds. And exactly, says LUFC Lofts. You can't do anything really when they're under under contract. Glenn says, what pathway? Gray apart. Nobody is coming through. Ask Cresswell about the pathway. I think in the last few years, there's been quite a few, Glenn, to be honest. Obviously, we've seen Jamie, haven't we? We've seen, obviously, Calvin Phillips go on to better things. I think that, the academy product line maybe hasn't been that great. You've still seen the likes of Mowat, Charlie Taylor, Lewis Cook, all in the last however many years go on to have decent professional careers, a lot in the Premier League. So I think the pathway at Leeds is pretty decent. You compare that to a lot of clubs and a lot of top clubs, they won't have had products go and play Premier League football like the Leeds United academy product line. The question is Charlie Cresswell good enough? Would Charlie Cresswell get into a Premier League side? I think right now you'd probably turn around and say Archie Gray's going to be a Premier League footballer. Is Charlie Cresswell? I don't think he is. Joe Gelhardt obviously didn't come through the Leeds United setup, but is he a Premier League player? I don't think so. But you're looking at Archie now and you're thinking if he's doing that at 17, I mean, we saw Mr. Jude Bellingham play against Leeds when we lost 4-5 at Birmingham, and he was having the same impact, obviously, albeit a different position, but in terms of quality. Connor lad, I've just heard on the grapevine that City have put in £20 million for the ironing board in the laundry room at Thorpe Patch. It's the crap thing about it, mate. It's the crap thing, about all that the I don't want to go into the specifics of it, but the hierarchy of football nowadays, you can't do much about it. You just can't do anything. If they come in for a player of yours, you can try resist, but you can offer them, things where you're hoping they lead with their heart and their head in a sense because of the pathway. But when they come along, imagine what they can offer. You know what I mean? They've got a village. Their complex is a village. It's a joke. And so it's one of those things where at Leeds, we can offer a very, very lovely sort of like incentive to play for Leeds United. And a lot of people would be crazy not to take it. Look, you could be in the first team within 1 or 2 years. Sam Byram's spoken about that on the Leeds United podcast. I was offered my chance at Leeds. I was lucky. And that's what you'll get at Leeds, especially in the second tier of English football, because it's more forgiving. But it's so difficult. It is so difficult to compete with, really. So if Sky came in for you to cover Scum 24/7, would you take it? No, I wouldn't, Mark. But it's a very different scenario, isn't it? It's a completely different scenario. I'm also not a 15, 16-year-old kid with an agent. But it's difficult. Anyway, let's go on to a few bits of... and I wanted to discuss this as well. I want to get your thoughts. It's earlier on in the week. We're just there with the international break, and this is great thought-provoking chat, and that's why I love doing this sort of stuff, because we can sit here, we can converse about this sort of stuff, and it's respectful. And I genuinely reading this comment section. This is why I love doing YouTube, because it's I was thinking this. I was just genuinely thinking this, and I was in my room, and I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? I'll just do a live stream because I want to talk about it. And that's the beauty of doing YouTube and the beauty of this One Leeds forum. You guys can all interact. I genuinely read every single comment. I'll try to pull as much up as I can. And it's just it's conversational, isn't it? And if honestly, if you want more of that with an older head, someone who's definitely smarter than me and my old man were waffling today on the podcast that we do over on the Patreon. Links in the description. All proceeds go to the channel if you fancy that. 145. Yeah, I know. I don't get this, says Mr. Anthrope. We did the same thing with Feyenoord regarding Somerville. He wasn't old enough for the contract, so a generous gentleman's agreement was a solution. It is how it is, I'm afraid. It is the ruling. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. I wanted to talk about the title and where Leeds are right now and how I think this is shaping up. I'm really confident. And I don't know if that's a bad thing. I'm really, really, really confident with where we are now. I'm just watching every single game, and I'm, with what horrific position we were in, and what a chore it has been. watching these basketball Leeds United games where we've been struggling. We've just struggled for the past 2 years, really. And the squad has needed something for 2 years. And even Bielsa has supposedly said it, according to Angus Kinnear, although he didn't say that in the first podcast appearance that he came across. It was all Bielsa's fault, apparently. Of which I subscribe to, because the owner of the football club was telling me that. But gutting what we had was essential. And apparently Nick Hammond has been told that he's going to be staying on past this summer, which is great news. I think he's done a really good job under the circumstances. So that, combined with just the good feeling around the place at the minute, Joe Rodon potentially being there in January, if they were able to get that done, that would be mesmeric, for the best value, by the way. But I think right now we're going to get Ipswich. I think we're going to get them. I think we're going to hunt them down. I've had a look at their fixtures today, and I know we've got tough fixtures, but we're better. We were better when we went down there. For that 30-minute spell, we could have scored 6 or 7. I say this all the time because in every game in the Championship, we could have scored 6 or 7. They came back into it. They're a good system-based side who work in patterns and almost scripted, as Scott Parker said about Bielsa one time. But they work with scripted patterns and scripted movements. And they've got the players in the right positions, so they've got momentum and consistency. You can't be conceded as many goals as they are, and in my opinion, maintain what they are doing. What I will say is no team has ever not gone on to promotion with the position that Leicester and Ipswich are in right now. The problem is they've got Leeds and Southampton chasing them down. I don't think we will never see a front four like this in the Championship ever again. And that's typical because bloody Leeds are involved in it and it's classic. But you will never see, in my opinion, a front four. This front four are going to go now. They're going to go. Maybe Sunderland can grip on, but I think they're too inconsistent at home. This front four are going to go. And I don't see Leeds dropping. I don't. Jed Spence is apparently coming back into the fold very, very soon. He could be back in time for Rotherham. You've got a back line then potentially of Jed Spence, Joe Rodon, the strongest this is, by the way, Firpo and Byram. Now for me, I'd be looking at getting another left back with the injury woes that we've seen. Yeah, because I think Byram is going to pick up another 2 or 3. We knew that at the start of the season. Firpo will pick up another couple, and I don't think he's of that quality. I thought he might be, but I can't get myself convinced with Junior Firpo. I just, on any football pitch, could see him in the bottom half of the Championship, playing for a lowerly team, and I'd still worry about him defensively. He's a left wing back. He's not a defender. He's an attacker. But I look at that back line. I think it's strong. The midfield's the best in the division. It is. Facts. It is. I'd argue we've got the best centre-back pair in the division. And the front four can't. The front four, there's no point in even discussing. So, I look at 8 points and I think if they're conceding as many goals as they are Ipswich, and we're talking home and away here, they've actually got a better defensive record away from home. I think with the average that Leeds have right now, which is over 2 points a game, I think we're going to catch them. I think that it's a massive Christmas period because they've got us at Ellen Road, where we've not lost in 9. And then they've got Leicester at home, who've got a very, very good away record. So they've got 3 days which can make or break their season, in my opinion. Because I think as soon as Leeds get pole position, Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, they go. I just feel that. And, it might be a poor shout, it might be a good shout, but I just think there's games that they have coming up. We played the top 2. We've beaten the top 2. And normally that law of average works out in the end. And I just think 8 points now from where it could have been, which could have been 15 points, it's already showing that there can be cracks and they can be exposed. Leicester 2 losses on the bounce, no goals in either. Ipswich drawn twice, come back from it, of course. Good win at the weekend. But once again, conceding 2. Conceding 2 against Plymouth. Conceding 2 against Birmingham. Conceding 2 against Rotherham. You can't keep doing that. You can't, in my opinion. So, I will be, and you know, it was reiterated by the person who we all love to hate, Don Goodman, today, and he was saying that, and which is surprising, I know everybody, but he was saying that he can't see a scenario where Leicester and Leeds don't go up. I think Leicester are going to. I think this could probably be a springboard for Leicester, and I think if anybody thinks that they're going to drop now, that's fair enough. But I think you're overdoing the quality in this division. They've played two really good sides. Leeds been the better of the side, but Borough are a decent side as well, especially at home. They've completely turned it around now. Unfortunately for us, and fortunately for us, 80% of the championship is pure guff. It's crap. So a lot of teams just will not be able to compete, and that gap's getting bigger every single season, especially when you look at Leicester and the caliber of player they have. So yeah, I don't think it's I don't think it's out the question. Wow, Connor, what a statement. I know, yeah. Believe it or not, I am confident. Listen, we had a spiel on Generation Leeds about it today. It was a confidence rally. I don't think we've hit our stride yet. Michael, I don't think we've played that well. I don't think we've played that well consistently. Leicester, yeah. Professional performance, a professional away performance. Watford was good, was very good. Watford were awful, but it was a very good performance. Huddersfield first half, excellent, but that's not consistent. You know, we've got QPR, Bristol City, Sheffield Wednesday, West Brom, Stoke, Birmingham. That Leeds haven't consistently hit it yet, but we're top of the form table. But we've got Jed Spence to come back. You know, I foresee a lot of positives for Leeds going forward here, in my opinion. JBL says, great name. Watched the Plymouth YouTube review on the weekend's game, and he said we were best. Yeah, I mean, if you watch my watch along, you'll see a lot of the reaction to that. Like, I was a bit annoyed because we let them back into it in that first half. I keep saying it, and why am I saying it all the time? It should have been 6, should have been 7, because it should have been. They're not. Excuse me, everybody. Let's have a go on this again. Technical issues. Yeah, that should be better. You know, even when we've lost against Birmingham, at least even when we've lost against Stoke City, we've not been out of it. Like the Stoke game, we were the better team. You know, Hull, we've dropped stupid points. And this is where, like, that's where I thought of the weekend with Plymouth. I thought we've absolutely mullered them in that first half. They've barely been able to touch the ball. We've pressed them into oblivion. And I don't know if you guys think the same, but I'm watching these games and I'm thinking, it's a training session. Like, it annoys me at points because I think Rutter and Somerville and, maybe not James, but Perot and Nonto, whenever he does come on, they take it as a training session. They're taking the time to finish. They're doing an extra touch. They're doing maybe an extra turn. And they're doing it because they're finding it easy. And this isn't me being arrogant. This is as a fan watching players enjoying themselves. They're just taking it as if it's a training session. Rutter's having a laugh. Jorginho Rutter is taking the Michael in this division. And we see it every single week. You know, he's in his defensive line doing Cruyff turns and step overs when he's got 3 Plymouth players pressing him towards his own goal. So this is what we're looking at right now. And it was annoying me. We've got to start being more ruthless and stop almost taking the mickey. Just be ruthless. Just dispatch these teams. Just put them away. Because they've all got the ability. Rutter missing on the penalty spot the other day. Somerville missing a sitter. Dan James missing a couple. Perot missing against Leicester in his perfect position. Do you know what I mean? There's been chance after chance after chance after chance. And it's almost just because they're almost a bit like, oh, another one's going to come. Because we're almost having a laugh here. And I think in a way that's amazing. And it's great to see. But it's not great for the anxiety or the goal difference. Yeah, guys, if you wouldn't mind, I think it's 500 of you now. Just smash a like on the video. Really appreciate it. Matt says, am I feeling all right? Yeah. Sam says, I'm more worried about Southampton. It's a good shout, mate. It's a good shout. They're hitting the stride now, aren't they? And I mean, I said they'd win it at the start of the season. I thought they were ready-made to win the division, Southampton. I thought the signings were really good. Loved the signing of Taylor Harwood-Bellis and Shea Charles. I think they made a bit of a muck-up selling Nathan Teller to Bayer Leverkusen, but they can't do much about that. He was superb last season in the division. Ward-Prowse going was obviously big. Lavia as well, you forget about him. So it was a big change for them. But like Leeds, it's a big churn, and they're now well in it. There's a genuine scenario here where it is the three who came down that you know, that are in that top three. Because we forget, and I forget sometimes, it's mid-November. It's mid-November. How long have we got left? You know, the season started, late August? Early September. Leeds properly started into our flow of things, late September? You know, it's not even got started, really. And, you know, sometimes I have to bring myself back and remind myself of this as well. You know, but the quality of that three, is so good. It's so good. And probably the only game where I thought we were just they were better than us was Southampton. I'll be honest. I just thought they were miles better than us on the day, like quality-wise and system-wise. And Farke got it wrong. And that's where he had to get it right against Leicester. Because I had a few questions. I put out on Twitter, I said, I've got a few questions here still. He's got to prove it. You know, because Ipswich was a 20, 30-minute burst where we could have blown any team away in that division by a ridiculous amount of goals. And if we'd have been ruthless, even more ruthless, we could have scored 6 or 7. But, you know, they did come back into it a lot and they controlled like quite a bit of the game. I wanted to see us control the game against one of the big boys, and we did against Leicester. So that was a big tick. But Southampton was a tough one. But he knew. Because I think if we'd have weathered that storm against Southampton, then we'd have been okay. If we'd have got to 20 minutes and we'd have got into our groove a little bit, we'd have been all right. But he didn't play Joe Rodon, he played Liam Cooper. And that's the problem you get with Liam Cooper against any top side. Joseph says, I pose a question to you, Con. If Leeds had this team now at the start of the season, what points tally would we have? I think would have matched Leicester. Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah. Matched, or if not more. Because you look at Sheffield Wednesday, and that was post Sinistera, wasn't it? It was the day after all the carnage. I don't even think Jayden Anthony was properly through the door. I think he did an interview with LUTV before. There was him who'd just come back. I don't even know if he was in the squad there. And then there was all the chaos with Willie Gnonto at the end of the window as well, the mid to end of it. And it was obviously all the players leaving as well. It was chaos. It was absolute chaos. So you had Sheffield Wednesday, Birmingham, West Brom, Cardiff, where you drop in mass points. And I guarantee we play all of those again. I know this isn't how football works and it's hypothetical. You play all that lot again and we beat all of them. Even Birmingham at St Andrews, you beat all of them. So yeah. Michael says, would this squad have survived in the Prem? Not too convinced on that one yet, mate. I don't think so. Yeah, I'm not there yet. But I think it's seriously irritating that we didn't have that, but it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because I don't think 8 points is a ridiculous amount of points that we can't get back up. But more news today. It looks like Borussia Mönchengladbach are looking to make Werber's contract or are going to take him on a permanent contract. I just don't care. I don't care. I mean, you're looking at Werber in comparison to Joe Rodon. We spoke about Rodon today, and I don't want to go into it too much about him being in awe of Farke, but I mean, Rodon for me is just way ahead of Werber. Way ahead. You know, he just is. He is. I know football's relative. He's playing in the Bundesliga. Rodon's playing in the Championship, but I think there's levels to it really, but yeah, I think that we had a discussion on one of the shorts today about Joe Rodon, Joe Rodon's price tag. I don't agree with Spurs putting 20 million quid on it. He's out of contract next summer. Doesn't ever get in at Spurs. And I think Levy's doing what Levy does, and he's going to be haggling. But hopefully he's got a shrewd negotiator up against him with Parag Marate. I think Rodon's worth, if you're looking at a year left when he goes back, he's not worth 20 million quid. As in, it's not because he's a bad player at all, but you look at the contract details to it, there's no way it's 20 million. You know, if we get 12 to 15 for Verba, plough that into Rodon, sign him. You know, there's no way Spurs should be getting 20 million for him. There's no way. I don't rate that at all. And I think what Levy's doing there is he's doing what he does best. He's the best negotiator in the country, and he always has been. So yeah, I think it needs to get to a point. We don't need to discuss that now, but I think when we're looking at those two, it's you've got one level up there, to be honest. Joseph said there's going to be a stark difference between Champ and Premier League. I agree, mate. Yeah, I do. So yeah, exactly, Gavin. I completely forgot about that. Southampton have Ross Stewart fit, which is massive. You know, I think that's why I put them top, to be honest, because that's signing arguably a level up from Perot. You know what I mean in terms of quality. He can do pretty much everything. Ross Stewart up top. So they've got him to come back, and then you've got Armstrong and Adams. So we're going to do well. There could be a likely scenario where it's Leicester, Leeds, and Southampton in a battle for that top two. Honestly. Chemical Echo says 49ers will definitely get less than 20 million, especially with Steinson. They're going to have to make. It's not good enough that the Leeds shouldn't be paying that amount of money. I don't care about the finances, but you don't want to get mugged off, especially if it's going to impact one of our other signings. Do you think Leeds bring in a 10 in January? I don't think so, mate. I don't think we will do. I think they like the dynamic at the minute, although they did like Elias Chair. They really liked him. Obviously, we went in for 6 million, didn't we? And that was rejected. I think we have to say it's last game of the season. We do, Mark. But yeah, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Please, there's nearly 600 of you in the building. Please make sure you're slapping a like on the video. Also, we're going to be back tomorrow morning with another Rumour Mill. Hope you're enjoying these. Hope you're enjoying the daily content. As I say, if you want to head on over to Patreon and yeah, head on over there and a bit of bonus content over there. We'll also have the debrief back tomorrow. It'll be at 6 or 7 p.m. Make sure you're just checking our socials and I'll let you know on there, but it'll probably be around about 7 p.m. Yeah, really appreciate your support as always, guys. Leave a like on the video, and as always, have a lovely evening, and I'll catch you in a bit. Cheers.